Good morning, slash evening, slash afternoon, depending on what time you're seeing this. I am back in Sacramento, back in my dorm. Finals week is soon approaching, so nothing really too exciting going on, but I still wanted to put something out there. So, if you are not interested in photo, video, gear, or any of that at all, you can just come back maybe next week, and then we'll have a better vlog, I think. So this week, I'm gonna do a what's in my camera bag. I've always kind of wanted to do one of those. I always enjoy seeing everyone else's what's in my camera bag. But before we get to that, if you're watching this, you've definitely heard it a million times before, and you're gonna hear it again from me. The saying, you know, you don't need to go buy brand new gear to get the job done. It's something I think we kind of like hearing or don't like hearing, depending on where you stand with it. It has a whole lot of merit to it though. I kind of sit in the middle of it, which I'll try and explain at the end of the video, because there's a way you can kind of get around it, but you know, you have to be kind of picky with it. But without further ado, let's hop into the gear. Alright, so up first we do have my Lumix G7, which has been with me now for about a year. And I have it paired with the Manfrotto Pixie Evo 2, so the legs extend out. We got a little ball head up there. And then up on top we have the Comica microphone, which, you know, not a name brand, but it sounds pretty good and it does the job. I got a few extra batteries for my camera as well. This is the kit lens that it came with. It is a 14 to 42, and since it is a micro 4/3 sensor, which is cropped, the lens actually is about 24 to 84. Yes, 84. So it's my small little lens, but it's actually kind of nice and compact. There we go. Yeah, so that's camera number one. Moving on to camera number two, which is the Canon EOS 6D. Keep in mind this is not actually my personal camera. This is a camera that I borrow frequently from work, and I am so happy that they let me borrow it. It is the Mark 1, so it's not the Mark 2, but still a beast of a camera. This thing is just a tank. I usually run with the 24 to 105mm lens. It's just a really, really nice all-around piece of glass. That's kind of nice to have when you don't really know what your weekend is going to be like, because it's just a really nice all-around lens to have. You know, it doesn't go too long, but it's not too short either, and it also does look pretty good at macro photography. I do have the battery grip on the bottom, and this thing, not so much for video, but it definitely is a beast when it comes to photo. I mean, some of the pictures that this thing just pumps out are incredible. Alright, so those are my cameras. Moving on to my gimbal. So this is the Zhiyun Crane M-3, I believe. So it doesn't really hold really heavy cameras, but it does hold my Lumix, which is really all that matters. Although I did once try the Sony A7 S2 on here, and although it took a little bit of balancing, it did actually end up working, and it looked pretty good too. This thing is super, super nice to have when it comes to like running and gunning with music videos. What else? Really anything where you want to make sure that you have super, super smooth shots. I just throw my Lumix on there, and oh my gosh, is this thing nice. But that's that. Moving on to my drone. So this is the Phantom 3 Standard. So it only shoots at 2K, but that is totally fine. Most of the time I tend to shoot in 1080 anyways. So this is... how long have I had this? I've had this for about a year now. I got this last year at Black Friday at Best Buy for about $4.99. So at the time, that was a total steal. And this thing has been a trooper. I mean, I've used this a lot. I should be using it a little bit more. Hopefully, when we go up to Big Bear over Thanksgiving back up to our cabin, I'll be able to use this a little bit more. And my gosh, is this thing nice. One quick note though that I do want to point out about drones. If drones are something that you are interested in, or is something that you kind of had on your radar that you are interested in buying, keep in mind this drone is a fantastic drone. Before I say anything, this drone is fantastic. I do not regret getting it. It is an awesome piece of tech to have, but it's big. So for example, when I flew down to LA, I wanted to bring this with me, but I did have my backpack and my suitcase, and I couldn't really bring it with me just because it was Thanksgiving morning and I knew it was going to be a mess at Thanksgiving, although it wasn't that bad. But that was a whole extra bag that I had to bring that I didn't really want to bring, and I didn't bring it all because it would have had to go under the plane, or another bag would have had to go under the plane, and that's an extra bag, and then I have to wait for that once I'm off the plane. So unfortunately, it stayed here. That's one thing to keep in mind while with drones out here that are, you know, super tiny, like the Mavic. That thing looks insane. Super cool. Drones are getting really good and they're getting really cheap. So just something to keep in mind. So this is my drone, and it has done me so very well. Now moving on to bags. So this is a little cheap bag from Amazon. The company is called Newer. Nothing really too special here, but it does get the job done. It is super small. Let me open it really quickly. So this is the Newer bag, nice, tiny, and compact. Usually I put the Canon over here, I'll put the Lumix over here, or no. Usually I'll put the Canon over here, I'll put my Lumix over here, GoPro bag, which is what I will get to next, accessories and other accessories. Also can hold SD cards here, batteries there, that whole thing, and then water bottles on the side. So I think it was 30 bucks on Amazon, I'll have it linked below, and that's that. Moving on to drone bags. So this bag is the bag that I would have had to bring if I did actually bring the drone down to LA. Unfortunately, I did not, as you already know. Holds my battery, my remote, nothing too fun here. So moving on to the last couple of things that I have, which are just accessories that I usually have in the bag with me the whole time. Starting over here, the GoPro bag with GoPro batteries. These are, you know, generic. What are they? These are Power Extra batteries. You know, they get the job done. GoPro Hero Silver 4. Original GoPro. This thing has been through hell and back, and I don't know how it's still working, but it is. I actually replaced the lens on this guy, well, the glass on it, and surprisingly, it still works. I didn't think I'd actually be able to pull it off. Some spare batteries for the Lumix, extra SD card, the SD card holders, business cards, gotta have your business cards on hand. Got the Newer flash, I don't know what the name is, but it's from Newer. Works, gets the job done, and a wireless remote shutter for the Canon. So yeah, that's really about everything. The one thing that I did want to bring up was where I mentioned earlier, you know, the saying, you don't need expensive gear to get the job done, or you don't need to go out and buy gear to get the job done. So here's my take on it. So basically, there is gear out there that isn't really expensive, that still has really good features that can help you get the job done. So, and, you know, instead of going out and buying the brand new A7R2, which it looks like a fantastic camera, you know, it doesn't mean that the new gear is bad or that you shouldn't be interested in it. If you can get it, by all means, I mean, why not? But, you know, if you can't, then there are kind of ways to get around that and find gear that will help you that isn't, you know, stupid expensive. This doesn't mean go out and buy gear right away. I mean, you know, do your research, see what's right for you, what would work for you, what wouldn't. You know, different cameras fit different needs. So, you know, do a little bit of research, look at what's out there, find out what works for you, what doesn't, and also what's realistic. So that's pretty much everything that I have in terms of gear. Not a whole lot, but it gets the job done. If you are interested in gear, anything like that, you know, before you go out and make the purchase, kind of think about what would work for you. You know, brand versus another brand, and see what's a couple years older, what's brand new, what's the difference really, and is it really worth it? So that's really all I have. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace. All that I'm saying is, you don't need to go out and buy a fantastic camera. You know, this doesn't mean it.